Hello everyone, welcome to the Cottage. I'm Joey the Veiled Cottage Witch, and this is another episode of my Magickal Plant Series. Today we are talking about the poppy, or the papaver species plural. That is the SPP on the end of our scientific name for the plant. This plant is also known as blind buff, blind eyes, headaches, for some reason, headwake, flowering thistle, and cup of gold, which is my personal favorite. Now, this beautiful flower has had some bad reputation and some folklore that has had some misgivings, but today we're going to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly of the poppy. We're going to open those seed pods and expose it for everything wonderful and everything tragic that is inside. So if that sounds good to you, stick around. You might just learn something new. Okay, so the folklore. I've got lots. I dug deep for you guys because let me tell you, there's a lot of dirt on the poppy. So poppies, the name origin, let's start there, is from the Old English papaig, which itself is rooted in the Latin papaver. And this term might have originated as an onomatopoeia for the sound that the seed pod's rattling makes. So that's pretty cool. If you don't know what an onomatopoeia is, it's one of my favorite things in the world. So if you do know what an onomatopoeia is, tell me in the comments. Not a whole lot of people know, but it is a word for the sound that certain things make. And it's one of my favorite words ever. I'm an English fanatic, so I love things like that. So poppies were strongly linked to the gods of sleep and the underworld due to their natural opiate properties, right? So Hypnos, right, the god of sleep, and Thanatos, his twin brother, the god of death, all right, and Nyx, goddess of night, and Morpheus, god of dreams, after whom the drug morphine is named. Did you guys know that? So we're often depicted all carrying poppies. Right, it's true. Poppies were depicted in so many pictures. If you go and you look at a lot of Greek gods, they all have poppies. And most of them are carrying the seeds. Their family were said to live in a cave of poppies. This is true. Now, the flower is famous for its properties as a sedative and its role in the creation of opium. Yeah. So those are going to be little hot words that hope won't get this video taken down. Oh, well, I mean, it's true. It's where it came from. So there we go. Now, the poppies responsible for this particular association is Poppy somniferium, the bread seed poppy, also known colloquially as the opium poppy. Now, so well known was it for its ability to induce sleep that early Romans believed it was created by Ceres or Demeter, who was seeking an escape from her grief at the loss of her daughter Proserpine or Persephone, right? Created the poppy as a means of granting herself oblivion. Now, William Brown speaks of this in his poem, Consolation, Oblivion. Sleep-bringing poppy, by the plowman late, not without cause to Ceres consecrate. Fairest Proserpine was rapt away, and she in plaints the night interes the day. Had long time spent when no high power could give her, and redress the poppy did relieve her. For eating of the seeds they sleep procured, and so beguiled those griefs she endured. So isn't that kind of beautiful? Yeah. Now, it wouldn't be until 1805 that morphine would be extracted from these poppies, and as such, opium, which is created from the dried latex of the seeds capsules. Look at this. It looks kind of gross, but that's where we get it. Was used as a painkiller and to soothe restless babies. More on that later. Now, Homer alluded to opium in his Odyssey, calling it Nepenthes, the destroyer of grief. Now, he attributed its discovery to the Egyptians, and the substance is mentioned as early as 1550 BC to the Ebers Papyrus as a method for preventing the excess crying of children. Surprisingly, use of poppy byproducts as a treatment for colicky babies has continued until as recent as the last 50 years. Right? I couldn't believe it either. Now, from the 16th century, opium was the most common administered in the form of laudanum. Check this out. A mix of opium and alcohol, usually brandy, that was prescribed as an analgesic. Now, usually taken by adults for pain and sleeplessness. It would also be spoon-fed to restless infants. Yeah, true story. Later in the 1700s, this medicine was combined with a sugary syrup and used as a sedative specifically for children. Have some opium, child. You need to get some sleep. Yeah. And for those who couldn't afford conventional medicine, a solution noted in the 1800s in Norfolk and Cambridgeshire, where opium addiction was particularly a problem, was as follows. Raw poppy seeds would be wrapped in muslin and soaked in tea or sugar water. Then the whole bundle was given to a sick child for them to suck on. What? Excuse me? What? All right. Now, it may have helped the tired parent sleep, but the risks of using poppy to settle a child were severe. The rates of child deaths from opium ingestion were extremely high. Culpeper remarked on this when he wrote, an overdose causes immoderate mirth or stupidity, redness of the face, swelling of the lips, relaxation of the joints, giddiness of the head, deep sleep, accompanied with turbulent dreams and convulsive starting, cold sweats, and frequently, should we say it, death. With these side effects, it is no shock that poppy tea and opium could also be turned into more nefarious purposes. Now, in the 1800s, one might fall prey to the practice of hocusing. Yeah, that's where we get hocus pocus. Hocusing, where political supporters, the night before an election, would spike the drinks of the opposition's voters with laudanum to ensure that they would sleep through the event. I'm going to let that sink in. I'm just going to. Yeah. So from Basingstoke, England, comes another tale, which highlights a different danger of the poppy's sedative. And it begins with a sign mounted, oh, this story, in Southview Cemetery. Mrs. Blunden, wife of William Blunden, was buried alive in the cemetery in July 1674. Parliament fined the town for its negligence. Now, Alice Blunden was, as the sign said, buried alive, not once, but twice, before her untimely passing. Now, while her husband was away on business, records state that Blunden drank such a quantity of poppy tea that she fell into a deep sleep from which no one could wake her. A doctor attended the scene and, after holding a mirror to her face to test for breath, declared her dead. Her husband was contacted and he requested a funeral be delayed until he returned. However, it was a hot summer, and the rest of the family decided to go ahead with the burial to ensure that her body did not begin to rot. And Alice was a large woman, and they had to squeeze her into a coffin, holding her arms and legs down while they sealed it. This is such an unpleasant story to tell you guys. I don't want to tell it. Okay. So they squeezed her into this coffin and buried her. So 2 days after the funeral, two boys playing in the cemetery heard some muffled screaming coming from under the ground. They ran to their school, told several teachers, but because they were known troublemakers, nobody believed them, and the headmaster punished them for lying. This poor woman. The following day, the headmaster went to investigate himself because he began to wonder, like, maybe these kids are telling the truth. And he himself heard the woman's screams. And it was evening by the time those with authority to open the grave would be gathered. And when the coffin was open, Alice Blunden practically sprung out of it. So tightly had her body been squeezed inside that she was found to be most lamentably beaten, which was thought to be the result of the tight fit. And when they examined her, they found no further signs of life present. With nowhere to store the corpse until the coroner could be summoned the next day, they returned her to the grave overnight. And as the grave was not fully covered, they assigned a guard to stand watch. But that night, the weather turned heavy rain, and the guard retreated from his post, leaving the grave unattended. Come morning, the coroner found she had torn off the great part of her winding sheet, scratched herself in several places, and beaten her mouth so long until it was all gore and blood. Now, Alice was this time at least definitely dead, as no one could be found responsible for the tragedy. The town was fined for negligence. And sorry, I have to turn my page. And the method for checking for death using a mirror, though a recognized technique at the time, was no longer a recommended practice. So she had been fit into the coffin, thrashed and beat herself, passed out, right? Was still alive. And they buried her again. And then she was still alive. Oh, yeah. And that is when they, the moral of this story is that is when they started to change the methods of checking if people were dead. Yeah, what a lovely story to tell you guys. Don't drink too much poppy tea. Yeah. So, all right. Many of the mythological and superstitious connections of the poppy are entwined with its sleep-inducing and quieting effects, or, in the wrong hands, its ability to kill. Poppy seeds would be scattered inside the coffin at a funeral to encourage the body to sleep rather than to return to life. Wow, that poor lady. The use of poppy seeds in this manner may relate less to the tranquilizing properties and more to an older traditional ward against demons and vampires. You guys should know this one. The superstition claims that should something that is small, numerous, and easily scattered be thrown into the path of a monster, it will be compelled to stop and count each tiny piece before continuing, allowing you time to escape pursuit. This myth has been retold in various forms, and besides poppy seeds, also names rice, breadcrumbs, and acorns, among others, as a suitable distraction. Salt, sugar, yeah. Perhaps it is in this context, then, that substances such as poppy seeds have been found in ancient burial sites, a deterrent to prevent a corpse from being preyed upon by these creatures or from turning into one itself. I love that. According to one legend, poppies sprang from the tears of Aphrodite as she mourned for her mortal lover, Adonis. Aw. Now, in both Greek and Roman cultures, poppies were used as offerings to the dead, and their images were placed on tombstones to symbolize eternal sleep. Now, Assyrians called the poppy the daughter of the fields, associating it with agriculture and the ability to nourish the soil. Now, Egyptians included poppies in burial tombs and associated them with the god of death and agriculture, Osiris. Now, in some Eastern cultures, mainly China and Japan, poppies can symbolize prosperity, and probably because of the color red. I dressed for the occasion. Because red is the color of prosperity in those countries. Luxury, success, and passionate love between a couple. though they also represent rest and consolation. So there's your lore. Have I thoroughly just gave you nightmare fuel? Let me know down in the comments, or not. If we never speak of this again, I'd be happy. Okay. All right. On to medicinal properties. So now the opium poppy, Papaver somniferum, is the most powerful of the poppy family. It's the opium poppy. It's been used medicinally for thousands of years. The milky latex of the unripe seed capsule is the source of opium, which contain those potent alkaloids. The active compounds are morphine, codeine, thebaine, and papaverine. Papaverine. That's it. Morphine and codeine are powerful analgesics and used to treat severe pain. Now, codeine is also used as an antitussive, which is a cough suppressant. And narcotics can be used to treat diarrhea. If anybody is on painkillers for an extended period of time, knows that it gives them constipation. So there you go. Papaverine acts as a relaxant for involuntary muscle spasms. So there you go. The risks, though. Here you go. You guys all know this anyway. The alkaloids from the opium poppy are highly addictive and can cause respiratory depression, sedation, and overdose, particularly if derived illicitly. So there's your good and bad. Now the California poppy. I can't even say this. I'm going to try. Eschalosia californica. I can say that one. As the state flower of California, this species is known for its mild calming properties, and it's often used in herbal medicine. This is the safe one. It is a nervine herb used to calm the nervous system and relieve stress and anxiety. Used to aid with insomnia, overexcitability, and other sleep disturbances. It can provide mild relief for aches, nervous agitation, and nerve pain like sciatica. Considered a safe sedative for children, often administered as a glycerite due to its bitter taste. That's all I make. All my tinctures are glycerite, but I have not been able to get a California poppy to grow. But I'll get there. Typically prepared as a tincture, glycerite, or tea, its whole synergistic constituent profile is thought to be responsible for its gentle action. It's like opium light. Opium zero. Now the red poppy or corn poppy, the Papaver roas. Now this variety is different from the opium poppy and is known for its mild analgesic and sedative effects, especially in European herbal medicine. It contains alkaloids like papaverin and roidine, but not morphine. It provides mild pain relief and sedation, particularly for children and the elderly. It's used to suppress irritating coughs, and it's usually taken as an infusion of the dried petals. Now, poppy seeds. This is how I like to work with them. And they're so fun to crush. You can't even see how tiny they are. They're so fun to crush. This is how I prefer to work with poppy, with the seeds. And I would love to make some poppy seed oil. In fact, I think I'm going to after reading this. While the opium alkaloids are found in the milky latex of the plant, the seeds and oil have their own medicinal and nutritional benefits. Seeds contain protein, dietary fiber, calcium, and antioxidants. The oil is rich in unsaturated fats, which can support heart health. Yay! Antioxidants in the seeds may help combat oxidative stress. So this is the way to go. As far as if you're trying to be the safest route of working with this in your nutrition, in your herbalism that you want to take medicinally, this is the safest way. But I would love to get my hands on some California poppy. I really would. All right, magical properties. The element is water. The energy is receptive. The planet is the moon. And the day of the week it is most potent is Monday. Now, poppy seeds and flowers are eaten or carried to promote fertility and to attract luck and money. Dried poppy flowers can be added to dream pillows and used in love spells and enchantments. If you wish to know the answer to a question, write it in blue ink on a piece of white paper. I'm so going to try this spell. I didn't do a long spell for you guys. This is the spell because sometimes simple is better. So if you wish to know the answer to a question, write it in blue ink on a piece of white paper. Place this inside a poppy seed pod, and place this beneath your pillow. The answer to your question will appear in your dream. It wouldn't hurt to petition one of the poppy gods, like Hypnos or not Thanatos, Morpheus. Morpheus, the god of dreams. That would be a perfect one. Nyx, get those guys to hang out with you. That might not be a bad idea. So you can grow poppies in the garden to add color and invite fairy energies. Grow them to keep negative energies away. The fresh flowers have a lovely scent and can be floated in bath water to revive and comfort. Now you can bake the seeds, obviously, into sweetbreads and mix them into salad dressings. Also probably marinades to encourage affection and increase fertility. You can stuff the seeds into a poppet to deepen the connection between you and your target. Now in Hoodoo religion, poppy seeds are used to cause a delay and to dominate and confuse your enemy. Intention's everything, guys. So there you go. Now the poppy's life cycle. Flourishing even in disturbed soil like battlefields symbolizes resilience, rebirth, and the potential for new beginnings after destruction. So use that to your advantage. All right. Now here we go with color magic. Red poppies are for remembrance, sacrifice, life, death, and rebirth. White poppies are for purity, virtue, eternal sleep, and spiritual connection. Orange or yellow poppies are for health, resilience, joy, success, and optimism. Now, the rare blue poppy. You get your hands on some blue poppy. Somebody better send me some. I mean it. You get some blue poppies. It's all about imagination, creativity, higher thinking, inspiration, and luxury. Yeah. All right, so personal uses. I've only have it in 2 of my products. So it's in my flying ointment. So among grapeseed oil, beeswax, sandalwood, mugwort, bay leaf, wormwood, and poppy, yarrow, and with sandalwood, mugwort, and yarrow oils. So this is my level 1. I'm going to be making a level 2 and a level 3, but this is my level 1. Yeah, stay tuned for level 2. As soon as I get my belladonna tincture. I ran out of my first kind because I was using it for my migraines. Now I'm on medication. Announcement. I'm on medication that actually works well. So now I can use my belladonna tincture in my level 2 flying ointment. I'm so excited, you guys. All right, flying ointment. It's $13 on my shop. And with my special code word, it's free shipping. And that's such a steal. Such a steal. And then our brand new product, and I say our because my partner in crime, Bobby Fierro, says, let's do this. And I said, let's make it happen. I've got all those herbs. So his idea, my herbs, we made it happen. The Cloak of Invisibility oil. What does that do, Joey? Well, this is a specific oil that you're going to anoint yourself with. You know, third eye pulse points. Yeah. When you want to do a spell that you don't want anybody else knowing you did it. It's your cloak of invisibility. Yeah. And it has grapeseed oil, spearmint, coffee beans, cloves, sandalwood, poppy seed, and blue lotus flower with patchouli and dragon's blood oils in it. This stuff smells amazing. Nobody is going to know you're doing anything nefarious. Maybe you just want to do a little money spell, but you don't want anybody to know you did a money spell. There you go. Your cloak of invisibility. $12 on my shop. So there you go. That was poppies. Now, I would also use them, like I said, as seeds. So any kind of like new moon spell that you're planting a seed for fertility, something you want to grow. It is a perfect new moon ingredient to any spell because at new moon, you want things to start and to grow. So it's a perfect ingredient for any new moon spell. You know, fertility, anything like that. Dream pillows, like I said earlier. Get creative with these ingredients, you guys. I only give you a little bit, but can I use it for this? Why not? That's what I'm going to say. If you ask me, if you send me a message, can I use this for this? I'm going to tell you, have fun. I'm a folk witch. I get creative. You know, I don't go by spell books. I go by what I feel is right and what my ancestors and what my beloved dead and what my gods tell me to do. Mostly it's intuitive, to be honest. So there you go. That was Poppy. Tell me how you guys use Poppy in your spells and in your herbalism practice. Yeah, please let me know. Let's get that conversation started. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Please visit my website at theveiledcottagewitch.com. Shop my holistic healing, shop my magic and ritual supplies. Don't forget to put in that code word, all caps veiled, to get your free shipping. You can also sign up for a class, sign up for a reading with Bobby Fierro. All good things on that website. If you'd like to financially support this channel, give me a little tip. I'd sure appreciate it. You can buy me a coffee. All the details are down below. Or you could just scan this QR code right here, but absolutely no pressure. Just live your best life and live for yourself. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.